We're going to be looking at our informational writing checklist right now to understand how to use this tool. This is a tool that you will use to get formative feedback on your Odyssey essay. So I want to make sure you understand how and why we use this tool. So when you go back to your own essay, you can get some good feedback for yourself. Okay? So to do so, we're going to look here. I noticed first that it's divided into different areas, just like my rubric, but in this case, it's a checklist, not a rubric. So again, it's formative. But when I go down, I can see that there's all sorts of different things that I'm going to be looking for and very specific items that it's going to help me get to. My categories are not yet starting to, mostly there, and yes, these are the categories that I get to pick as I go through my own essay and say, where am I as a writer, all right? And to do so, guys, we're going to be using this example essay that we went through a couple nights ago for homework. This is called Sample Essay Homework on Google Classroom, and this one is about the Iliad, so we'll be using that for our reference. All right, so let's take a look here. Our first one is our thesis statement. So remember, that's like a big topic sentence. This says, my thesis statement introduces my unique perspective on the prompt and demonstrates deeper thinking. When I go back and look here, I notice that it does just that, right? My thesis statement is telling me what, answering the prompt, there we go. And it's telling me what we're going to be talking about with a little bit of deeper thinking in there. So I'm going to say mostly there on this one. It could go a little bit deeper, absolutely, but for the most part, I think it's doing just fine. Next is development. My essay addresses the prompt in a way that demonstrates a deeper analysis or perspective of the thesis through my use of topic sentences and main points. So now I'm going to go to each of my body paragraphs, look at my topic sentence. Does it answer the prompt? Here, yes, it's doing that because it's telling me how a character changes Hector, and then I'm going to make sure that my main points match. So I have brave, leader, and focused. We have brave, leader, and focused. Awesome. Second one, in the middle of the story, Hector is fierce, loud, and very mighty. Here we have a fierce warrior, loud, and mighty, and once again, that's answering the prompt. In the end, Hector is promising, cocky, and eventually a murderer, we could say, whatever, right? Here we have, again, that's happening, so he's promising, cocky, and one more, he murders to fight Patroclus, right? So here we have all of those pieces, making sure that they're in the right spot. So I'm going to go back to my checklist, and I'm going to say, absolutely, they're mostly there, right? Again, could we go a little bit deeper with it? Absolutely, but I think this is proficient and looking great. After that, we're looking for our textual evidence, our first prove it. So we need to make sure that we have main points that are proven with quotes that also can show that deeper thinking. So when I kind of skim here, I'm going to look and say, okay, does this show bravery? Does this show that he is a leader in this? Does it show that he is focused and on task? And I'm going to go through each body paragraph and see that, okay? Really make sure, guys, that first of all, you have a direct quote, and second of all, it matches what you're trying to say, all right? So if I were to go through this, it might take me a little bit longer, but I'd go through, make those choices, and again, we're going back, and we're really consistent in that mostly there category. That's awesome, right? We're proficient. Okay, and then finally, elaboration. So this is what we also call analysis. It's asking if my elaboration of my evidence provides a unique point that deeply analyzes the quote to prove a main point. So again, I'm going to go back. Let's do one example together here. So we have, to start off, Hector is brave. As stated in the text, Hector hurtled into the field in full battle armor. As the evidence shows, the Prince of Troy, Hector, is very courageous because he nearly flew into battle ready to fight. So here, guys, I'm going to call that mostly there, okay? It is not showing deeper thinking at this time. It absolutely could by talking about the consequence of bravery, per se, right? But right now, we're saying mostly there. They did what they needed to do, but we have opportunity to grow, all right? But I would go through every single one of these and make sure. If I don't have it, I would add it at this point, okay? All right, so that's going to go ideas, content, and development for us. Next, we have structure and organization. So really making sure we have what we need here. The organization of my essay not only flows in a logical order, but shows intentional purpose and structure that demonstrates high-level thinking. So again, when I read through my essay here, I realized that it does go in an order that makes sense, right? It makes a natural progression from one to the next. I didn't ever feel confused, but I didn't really see it as like the most unique thing in the world. So I'm going to again call that mostly there, okay, for that category. Introduction contains a hook, BK, and thesis, flows smoothly and adds depth to the overall meaning of the essay. We're looking here, we're talking about fall leaves, how they change. Then we learn a little bit more about what the Iliad is in our thesis. I like their introduction. I think that we are good there, right? Mostly there. My hook leads into my BK. Absolutely. I really like their hook, the image of the fall leaves changing. Body paragraphs follow the paragraph structure. They do because it's highlighted and I double checked. And then transitions. There were a few that were a little bit weird in here that weren't actually transitions. At one point, like truthfully, I'm not sure that's a transition. So I would go through and double check those because I'm not sure, and I'm going to mark those at a starting to right now because they weren't quite there. Okay? Conclusion. The first part of my conclusion rephrases the thesis. Let's go take a look at that. All right. It does no copy paste here. Oh, sorry, that's not it. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so it does no copy paste here, right? It's different. And then we need to make sure that it brings back to what we did before. So it does not repeat the way that we don't want it to, right? So we're going to say mostly there, and then it does have a connection to the hook and final thoughts, which are nice. Again, could go a little bit deeper maybe, but I thought that that was mostly there. All right, so that was kind of fast, guys. Structure and organization's easier, I think, because a lot of it's already there. It's just a matter of double checking. Let's look at style, word choice, sentence fluency. So we always need to use formal style in our writing, right? We cannot use the no words. This person did a beautiful job of that. I would give them a yes on this one, okay? Next, we're looking for using color. So my style is unique, using a combination of advanced and varied vocabulary, sentence structure, and well-chosen and well-placed descriptive details. I did not see much color in this person's, right? I would say that's a starting to. Maybe they attempted it, but we're not there. Same with figurative language. The only place that I noticed it was in the hook. There are opportunities for other places. So I use figurative language in a unique way to enhance the quality of my writing and embed it into my writing. We definitely are starting to, but not yet there, okay? So make sure you have that and use your resources for adding color. Next, we have conventions. No errors in capitalization, punctuation. I think it was looking really clean. I didn't notice any. No errors in the in-text citation. They were looking clean on that, so those are both yeses. And finally, Mla Formatting and Citation. So that's, did you follow the rules that we've talked about as far as making it look correct, okay? So it has no errors, so it was double spaced, it had the heading, it had the title, the correct font, all of that was true. In-text citations were used beautifully again, so that's also a yes. And I followed all the directions to provide the assignment color coding, making sure everything's good to go. Everything looked good, okay? So guys, if we go through and look at this person's formative feedback, right, they are proficient in this category. They're looking great. In this one, we do have some areas of improvement, structure and organization. So here, they may be closer to a 2.5, working on proficiency. We know what they need to go back and change, all right? Down here, same thing. We have some things to go back and work on. So I would say this is a 2.5 because we're close, but not quite there. And then we got some 4s down here. We got some yeses. So for conventions and formatting, they were looking beautiful. So if I was getting formative feedback, that's what I would expect to see on my paper and in the grade book. And then I could go back to my essay and I know the specific spots I need to make improvement. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.